campus for lunch, and you'd play that when there was actually a jukebox in like Pizza Hut. You could go and play, and you always played that song, and you're like, please play the long version, please play it. And they did. That was awesome, and we have the long version of that just because we can. More 80s coming up, and let's go ahead and look at some accidents as people head home this afternoon. Looks like 38 and South Portland stop and go. That's the only one that I have. If you see something that I didn't catch, you can call it 405-478-9250. An awesome 80s weekend, and we have Noble McEntire of McEntire Law back in. Happy New Year.
Thank you. How have you been so far this year?
I've been good so far this year.
Have you write any checks dated 2026 yet?
You know, I did like just a few. Not as many as I used to, but I did a few like ahead of time. So hopefully it'll catch up.
Every year it's weird to start over with new. Now my oldest daughter, she's never even written a check. These kids don't even understand. What are you talking about? You got to change the date on a check. It's all on their app. It's all on their phone.
It's the phone app. Yep.
I didn't even know you can deposit a check. People out there listening are going to laugh at this. You can deposit a check just by taking a picture of it.
Yes.
I've never done that. I've still never done that, but that's what my kids do.
Oh, yeah.
It works.
Yeah.
I just go in with the deposit slip and drop it through the window.
Yeah, they're like, what's a deposit slip?
Yeah. Different times.
Yeah, different times and different people for sure. All right, so we're going to talk about New Year's resolutions. I never have them, so I don't have to keep them. But if you were in the 80s, what would your New Year's resolution be? And here's a couple that I thought were pretty funny. How about, I will not wear sweatbands for exercise, just fashion.
Fashion. I remember that era.
That's funny. That's so funny.
I'm joining a Jane Fonda workout for real this time. I'm going to learn to set the clock on my VCR.
The one that always flashes 12? No.
Yes. I'm buying a cordless phone and never looking back.
What do you remember all that stuff? Probably for me, it would be so that I don't get charged $1 every time, because that's a lot of money to me. Actually rewind the video before I return it.
We went to Curtis Mathis. Remember Curtis Mathis back in the day? They rented videos, and yes, they would charge big time. They had some lady that was just always looking to see that you rewound your tape.
And they charge
you.
Yeah. The other thing would probably be, because kids today don't understand this, because with kids today, they have a cell phone, and you can call anywhere in the world for free. But it used to cost money, call long distance. And so I think I would have back then would be, okay, I'm not going to call anybody long distance unless it's really, really, really important. Today, if I want to call Germany, it doesn't cost anything. It's all over the cell phone. But it wasn't all that long ago that you get a long distance phone bill.
Yeah, and you'd wait till after 10 o'clock at night to call.
To off peak.
Yes.
It's a big difference.
Here's the best one of all of the 80s New Year's resolutions. I plan to quit smoking outside at least.
My dad was not a smoker. Nobody in the family was.
That's stupid. That's a stupid
and non-smoking. But the smoking would abut the non-smoking. So they put you in a non-smoking, but you're right next to a table where people are smoking. He'd have the worst attitude. They used to be able to smoke on airplanes. While you're in flight.
Yes. And you hear that ding, and then you can start smoking.
Crazy.
Just in like 20 years, it's a whole other world.
Everything changed.
And that's not that long. But yeah, there's your New Year's resolutions if it were the 80s.
Yeah.
Let's talk about something a little bit more serious. I thought that I would go through in light of things that have happened in the last week. What happens when you are stopped by police, whether any kind of police, whether it's a traffic stop or your house or on the street? What are your rights and what should you do?
Well, the first thing you should do is be polite. So many people get themselves into trouble because they instantly have an attitude. And even if you were pulled over for something that you think was unjust, and I've been pulled over for something I thought was ridiculous. I got pulled over one time. It was 12 o'clock at night, nobody on the road, and I pulled out of a little neighborhood, and I pulled into the far lane. Well, the law says you're supposed to turn into the lane closest to you. Nobody else on the road except me and the cop, and he pulled me over. Well, that was ridiculous. There's nobody else out there. But I still was polite, because you don't get anywhere being a butthead. And a lot of the times people get into trouble and get jerked out of a car and get handcuffed, and all that happens is just because they're being rude. So even if you don't think you're in the right, in the wrong, stay polite. They're people too. And then there's good police officers and bad police officers, just like there is in any profession. But stay polite. As far as what your rights are, everybody has the right to remain silent. They just don't have the ability. And everybody opens their mouth and starts talking. So if you're pulled over for some suspicion of a crime, exercise your right to not say anything. And that may get you detained. It may get you arrested. Okay, but you haven't said anything that's going to hurt your case or make it more difficult for a criminal defense lawyer down the road who's trying to defend you. So remain silent. If it's something like that, just say, listen, I'm not going to give any statements. I'm not going to talk. The officer can can decide what they want to do with that. But be polite at the same time.
And if you're polite, if they do violate your rights, you can sue them later.
Yeah, well, they're all wearing body cam for the most part now, and so this interaction will be videotaped, and you can get it. And the average officer is not they're not trying to create a problem. Their job is to enforce the law and to make things safer for everybody else. And are there people listening to me talk right now that disagree with that don't just like police officers of force? Everybody has their opinion. But at the same time, they're doing a job, and we want people to follow the law because it makes it safer for everybody else. I don't want somebody going 113 miles an hour on the road because my family's out there. I want them to follow the law. I don't want people breaking into stores and stealing stuff. I want them to follow the law. So obviously there are other rights we could talk about whether they have a right to search your car absent, any suspicion of doing so. Your right to not get out of your car when they ask you to get out of your car. There's certain things like that, but a lot of that is handled by just being polite. Whole initial conversation.
Yeah.
Look, I'm an attorney. I know all the rules. I could be belligerent and difficult with any officer if I wanted to. I know the law. They know the law. They know traffic laws. I know all the laws. So what good's that going to do me to have an officer pull up and say, listen, you idiot, I know the law better than you. Don't talk to me like that. I'm not going to get anywhere. I just say, look, officer, okay. I mean, officer told me one time how fast I was going, and I said, God, man, I'm glad you didn't get me a mile earlier. I was going way faster than that. And, use some humor. They like that, too. They're people.
Well, Noble McEntire, always taking care of people.
Yep, he is.
What do we do if we need to get a hold of you?
Real easy. My email address, my direct email address to me is noble@McEntireLaw.com. The phone number is 777-7000. There's 5 area codes in Oklahoma. I don't care which one you use. They're all going to get to me because I have them all. So just 777-7000.
All right, Noble McEntire, McEntire Law. Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Have a great week.
Happy New Year, Noble. Happy New Year.
We're 92.5 KOMN.
With Jennifer Lee and Noble McEntire.